George Bush has arrived in Saudi Arabia on the 6th day of his tour of the Middle East. The US president hopes to get Saudi backing for his Israeli-Palestinian peace plans, as well as added pressure against Iran. But like any good guest touring a region known for its formality and hospitality, Bush has brought gifts, in his case weapons contracts worth billions of dollars. Well, our correspondent Rob Reynolds is in the Saudi capital, Riyadh. Rob, over to you.
Well, Lauren, according to President Bush's schedule, he and Saudi King Abdullah are right about now sitting down for their first formal one-on-one meeting of this presidential trip to Saudi Arabia. And yes, arms packages are on the agenda, as are the issues involving Iran and Middle East peace. For a look at all of these issues and more, we have this report now by my colleague Hashem Ahelbarra.
Bush in Saudi Arabia, a crucial stopover on his tour of the Middle East. The Saudis and the Americans hailed their ties as strong and based on mutual understanding. But the strategic alliance between the two countries has often been strained. Oil has been a cornerstone in US-Saudi relations. But now, with the threats of a confrontation in Iran, the situation in Iraq and the political crisis in Lebanon, the Americans want the Saudis to play a major role in the region. But the two traditional allies don't seem to share the same vision for a stable Middle East. The Palestinian issue is one major sticking point.
You know, I think it would be naive to say that the Saudis are beholden to what the Americans want them to do. That's not the case. The Americans, they insist that Saudi Arabia recognize Israel, and the Saudis just refuse that. And I cannot see Saudi Arabia, for example, recognizing or normalizing relations with Israel before the whole issues are settled.
The Saudis have also voiced concerns about Iraq and even criticized US policy, saying it has alienated the Sunni population. And while the Saudis agree Iran's nuclear ambitions may prove a threat to the region, they have distanced themselves from the American position and are opposed to any military strike against Tehran. Against this complex backdrop, Bush aims to drum up more support for his vision from the Saudis. Here, in this shopping mall in Riyadh, the American influence on the country is clear. But it's Bush's policies across the region that most Saudis are not impressed with.
With Bush, so far, reality hasn't proved it, that they would be good friends for the Muslims.
I like to believe that Saudi Arabia will only grow in its political power, and for that the interest of the Americans will stay greater.
Armed with huge cash deposits, even by the Gulf standards, made from soaring oil prices, the Saudis have made it very clear they want a greater say in regional issues. But with Saudi Arabia widely seen as the leader of the Sunni world in the face of Iran's growing influence, the kingdom may still need the Americans for some time to come. Hashem Ahelbarra, Al Jazeera, Riyadh.